Hey everyone, today we have Rui Torres joining with me and Amit, and we are going to talk about what Rui and Amit have been up to at Woketype. And Rui, I'll start with how did you come up, how did it originated, Woketype.com, and what's the story behind yours and Amit's relation?
Yeah, that's a good question. So me and Amit met, I don't know, probably like 3 years ago, Amit, around that, right? Um, and yeah, we began to essentially talk about, you know, life and spirituality in the sense of investigating one's experience. And Amit was a really part of this process that in which I essentially had a lot of questions, and Amit was interested in the same subjects as I was in relation to exploring one's experience, like the body, what is the body, what is the mind, and all that, and all that passed into woke type was simply based on our relationship, our interest, for peace and one's tranquility, and it naturally progressed into woke type of platform that cared for this, for for humanity and for each individual to be free, and for them also to arrive at this piece that I'm talking about. And then woke type was born essentially first as a platform to share um texts, and I believe, and stuff that Amit wrote, and I wrote, and other people wrote. And then the natural progression was to have a platform that add this primal component of of providing people with value, in the sense of um sharing these piece. I guess that would be the best way to put it. And it evolved in a way to, to gather people that were interested in these, like therapists and coaches and all sorts of people, artists, and gather a market with this type of offer and experiences to all people.
Good. So, Amit, what people can expect? What type of information, content, things that people can expect when they visit woketype.com?
So Woketype is a market network for
Mm,
practitioners and people who are interested in these topics and services, right? And what are these practitioners and services? They're therapists, they are yoga instructors, they are people who train you to meditate, they are guidance counselors, they are people who just listen and talk and provide a friend in when one is needed. It's a support system that is that has one thing in common, which is they all want to find a natural path to freedom and to peace and to creativity and to fulfillment and to really to become awake. And our in running joke inside is that the word woke has been really hijacked by various parties, for various reasons. And we defy definitions because ultimately there is only peace and reality. You can call it whatever you want. So we don't care about words. Words are irrelevant in the realm in which we are inviting people, into their
Yeah.
own being. And in the being, there is no words. There is only being. So you can
Yeah.
literally call it whatever you want. So we chose to call it Woketype because, words are ours to choose what they mean.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
we are defining this platform to be a place for everyone who is interested in this, who's woke type,
Mm.
you know, to come and
Yeah.
join and,
Mm.
actually become awake.
Yeah. So what's it's the question is to both of you. What's the vision? How do you see moving forward? Woketype will be.
I'll say first, then Rui, please dive in. My sense is that it's a community of people, a
Mm.
club, a membership platform where you are just like you belong to LinkedIn. You have an account on Facebook, probably on Instagram, and
Mm.
so many other platforms. This is a community for something different that you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
what you get here is a very unique topic that's probably interesting
Mm.
to very few people, compared to what people are interested in, memes and things. But we are
Mm.
after the reality of all of that. We are after the reality of what it means to find peace, what it means to be zen, what it means to uh, understand oneself and to self realize the
Mm.
truth. What does it mean? This is not words. It's these are this you have to arrive at the actual.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's a
Yeah.
community of those people who are
Mm.
interested in the actual, not in the words, because the words are everywhere. You can go and read
Mm.
the original Vedas and understand
Mm.
intellectually
Mm.
what it means. But so what, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we're not after the debaters and the ones
Mm.
who want to pontificate or frankly even teach, because
Mm.
why do you have to teach if you already are? Why does anything have to
Mm.
happen when you already are?
Mm.
So um, it's a small group of people that I think will come together, and
Mm.
when these types of beings come together, there is a transformation in the vibrational frequency of reality,
Mm.
and it emanates peace and harmony and
Yeah.
transformation back into that fully
Mm.
balanced self.
Yeah.
That's really what we are after. uh, but it's also going to be a big business, because there's a lot
Mm.
of people who are servicing this industry today. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I think. Rui, you want to add?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I couldn't have said it better. I guess I can speak of in terms of
Mm.
products, for instance, our own products.
Yeah.
There's an upcoming book uh that me and Amit wrote, which are which is called Conversations with Consciousness,
Mm.
and it's a collection of talks for the past 2 years at least that me and Avmit have been in, and those talks were recorded and
Mm.
transcribed to text. So this book contains 28 chapters, 28 talks
Wow.
that um, is going to be released in a few weeks. It's practically ready to print,
Mm.
and yeah, that's our first product, and it's coming. It's going to be released in our first birthday as Woketype, which is in August.
Mm.
So it's very soon, and I'm very excited for it. I think it's it was very laborious, but it's I think it's for the people that are interested in having this sort of communion and to
Mm.
sort of be part of these talks in the form of reading. It's a book that facilitates that, and yeah, that will be our own product. Besides what Amit said before, we are going to
Mm.
gather people that offer services and experience like coaches,
Yeah.
yoga
Mm.
teachers, therapists,
Mm.
that each of them are going to have their own product along with this book, and I believe that is also mentioned within the book itself, the Conversations with Consciousness. There's a chapter that mentions the
Mm.
no mindfulness yoga, which is
Mm.
going to be the next program, and our second booklet which is going to essentially have the program about
Oh,
no
okay.
mindfulness, which is a
Mm,
system and a program that gathers in 44 minutes. Each
mm,
session is going to have 44 minutes, gathers these um, aspect of peace and realization, and it's going to be taught in the form of classes, both physical and
mm.
online classes. So yeah, it's very exciting that there's these two projects coming up very very soon.
So I think firstly, congratulations are in orders as you guys have completed 1 year and the launch for the launch of the book. Rui, you also mentioned it was laborious. I want to just know about the challenges because since it's a very different field, I want to know what kind of challenges you both of you have faced in both from business perspective as well as since this is a very different field and very different topics, even from that perspective, was it easy, difficult, or difficult to actually converse about these type of things and being open minded or being open about acceptance?
Yeah, I guess I can talk about the
Yeah.
practical doing part of the book itself, and then Amit can hop in terms of business and promotion. So why I said it was laborious is it's because essentially that there was hours of audio files
Mm,
that I had to transcribe. Um, there were these uh, hours, dozens of
mm,
hours of recorded material from these meetings that I talked about before, and the first process obviously was to transcribe them into text,
mm,
and that took a lot of time because it was essentially me doing that, and these was through several months as
mm,
and it was also almost of a live thing. So for instance, we could have a meeting on a Saturday or a Sunday, and we used that talk to be transcribed. So it was a process of building this thing up, and seeing it grow as the time passed, and
mm,
yeah, and after that comes the natural process of refining the text, and me asking Ahmed if I should change and edit this bit and so on and so forth. So there was this exchange between me and Ahmed to um, put up a nice book, and with hopes that people resonate with the words, and try to
mm.
make it clear the best we can.
Yeah, definitely. That's a like very important requirement that whoever reads or whoever listens get to actually understand what you guys are talking about. And
Yeah.
I'm like sorry to interrupt here, but I also have this question that you said that it has like around 28 chapters. Is there a process you guys come up with different chapters with different topics, or is it something that just comes in as a part of the process?
Yeah, that's a good question actually, because that was one of the questions that we had
Mm,
ourselves about the structure. So
mm,
there's in the meetings we had at least in the latest meetings that we had, there was a change of structure in the meetings themselves, and we proposed a topic for each meeting. So we
okay.
would say, okay, next
Mm,
week we can discuss about X or Y, or
mm,
you can say a subject that you are interested in discussing. All that reflected in the book, essentially, because we wanted to make, because it's such a, I think it's a topic that's on the surface, everyone, granted that they understand what is being talked about, easily gets
mm.
into it, but on the surface it might seem a bit daunting at first. So how
Yeah.
we
Mm,
combat to that was to look at the chapters that we had,
mm,
28 chapters, and try to organize them in terms of facility of access. So the chapters that introduce some concepts or talked about,
mm,
for instance, Amit's path and process with his own journey were
Mm.
the first chapters in order to introduce some
Okay.
key concepts and introduce
Mm.
Amit and how he came to this point and his own process and so on and so forth. So the structure was built like this essentially. Yeah.
So and Amit, what kind of feedback you guys have gotten so far, and what type of interactions you're having with other people who wants to be part of this community and who wants to get involved?
I think the people who have been involved and have been part of the process uh, weren't necessarily just readers. They were,
Mm.
on the journey together in a
Okay,
sense,
then. Okay.
And so those that were truly interested
Mm.
have found it, I think it changed them in many ways.
Oh.
That's the real,
Mm.
truth of it, I think. And to awaken, people into
Mm.
their own truth,
Yeah.
into the only truth, which is their truth,
Mm.
but what does it really mean, because everybody cannot have different truths. In that way, it's not called truth then,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so to wake up to the actual truth should not be difficult because it's the truth, you know
Mm.
and so to just understand clearly what that means is our goal here, so
Mm.
the people who have actually read it from that perspective, who have had some desire to understand it beyond the words,
Okay.
have really found it very useful, and we've found very good reception. And I think I'm super excited about what Rui just talked about, which is no mindfulness yoga.
So,
How
yeah.
can one actually practically,
Mm.
do certain things, what is called as yoga, really called yoga,
Mm.
to get to that, actual thing. And so whatever
Mm.
he's now doing, working on this new book, very small
Mm.
book, the booklet we call it,
Mm. Mm.
is, I think, and then and the training, teaching the teachers, training the trainers how to
Yeah. Mm.
teach this. And it's not
Mm.
difficult at all, because, what is so difficult about the truth? Everybody understands it.
Mm.
You just have
Wow.
to express it in the way that they understand it, because they will express it,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, I think you
So,
you explained it almost perfectly so that everybody listening or even I can actually grasp it what you are talking about.
Yeah,
and that
And
is Rui, he has a quote in the book which I think was, said unknowingly, but I think, Rui, isn't that the truth? Because I experienced it in that way, in my own
mm,
path, which is to say that in the presence of the sun,
mm,
one feels warm, and ultimately, if you go too close, or you will,
yeah.
get burnt, to ashes, and nothing will remain.
yeah,
Yeah,
You know,
okay. Yeah.
yeah. Peace. I think I said peace is contagious. So in that sense, yeah, it burns everything that's left, that sort of veils that peace
Mm,
and lets it shine when everything is burned. Yeah. Let me just say that also the book has some interesting things besides the
mm,
chapters. There's small quotes in order to, um, create a moment of pause. And along with that, there's several photographies, nature
mm.
photography of my own along the book with the same
Oh,
intent.
that's all. And
yeah, those
I
pictures are,
mm,
matched. So it's so. I mean, there's no Zen, there's no Buddhism, there's no Hinduism, there's no isms anywhere. But
mm,
yet there is the perfect congruence of these artwork, these pictures, and what's
mm,
being tried to be said here. You know, and
yeah.
it's really pretty and it's beautiful.
Wow, I can't wait to like for it to launch and actually have a read. And thanks, Rui, and thanks, Amit, for joining us for this talk. And as you said, Rui, peace is contagious, and I can feel from the conversation that we have had, it has been that that vibe has been transmitted, and really, really thankful for that.
Thank you, Kratika.